I am still playing in a different way. I play for the Team Alberta para ice hockey team. My name's Ryan Straschnitzki. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I first got into hockey when I was about 4 years old. My dad got me into the sport. He's a diehard Calgary Flames fan, and so at the age of 16, I moved away to go play midget AAA hockey and try and pursue my career that way to make the jump to Junior A. And on my 17-year-old year, I ended up playing a little bit of Junior A hockey. And then obviously I got traded to Humboldt that year, and we had a good season. I developed as a person, and I developed as a hockey player as well. The coach out in Humboldt cared more about the person you were versus the hockey player you were. And he kind of instilled that in all of us as being a good person around the community and always giving back. And that's something I'll always remember and something I cherish with me today. When I was in Humboldt and the accident happened, I remember the day. I remember it happening, and a lot of people don't remember it. And for me, remembering everything that happened was going to the intersection, and all of a sudden the bus driver kind of screams, and I poke my head around down the aisle, and sure enough there's a semi-truck coming this way, and the initial collision happens and everything's sort of black.
Devastating news from Canadian officials. The Humboldt Broncos junior hockey team from Saskatchewan was involved in a serious accident when a semi-trailer truck broadsided the team bus, killing at least 15.
I don't remember how much long after I gained consciousness, but I remember kind of sitting up with my back against the semi-truck, kind of looking around at all the mayhem, trying to collect my thoughts, trying to understand what just happened, and seeing, teammates and debris and all this stuff around me. My first instinct was just to get up. That's all I could repeat in my head was just get up. So I go to move, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm not moving. I'm stuck under something. So I go to look at my legs, and they're just not moving, and there's nothing on top of them. So instantly something wrong is happening. That's when the adrenaline starts kicking in. I couldn't really speak. I had head trauma. It was just hard for me to try and get help. And I kind of basically was just a waiting game. It's one of those things where unless you experience it, you don't understand the feeling of, am I going to live or am I going to die in this situation? So for me, it was just a waiting game, and luckily enough, someone was there to support. I'm not sure how long after. I have no concept of time in that scenario, but someone came to help. I got loaded off into the ambulance, and away went all the rehab, the surgeries, all the things I had to go through. There have been times where I was immobilized. I couldn't move unless a nurse brought in a giant crane and lifted me out of bed just to get into a wheelchair to go do therapy. It's something that I've experienced and I'm still trying to work through. But I feel like if you can overcome that, if you can get past the little challenges every day, it's something as simple as getting out of bed every day. That's what I had to learn in the hospital.
As parents, it's heartbreaking. It's just, the whole thing was heartbreaking anyway, but just to try and see your child struggle to do the simplest task, that was hard. But he proved me wrong. He proved everybody wrong.
So things like that weigh down on you as like, oh, I can't do this. I can't. And as soon as you make a statement, that's the end. That's what your mind's gonna think. But if you leave it open, if you leave it like a question, how can I do this? I'm gonna do this, sort of positive talk to yourself. That's when you obtain the highest goals. Well, shortly after the accident, I understood the extent of my injuries. I knew that stand-up hockey might not be an option anymore. And just around the same time, Canada lost in the Paralympics to the Americans.
Yeah, he woke up, he's all groggy, and he looked and he goes, hey Dad, hey Mom, hey buddy. And he kind of went in and out a little bit, and then he goes, who won the Olympics in sled hockey? Canada lost 2-1 to the States. Huh. And then he goes, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play sled hockey and try and win Canada the gold. And I looked at Michelle, and then I looked at him, I went, okay, it starts today.
There's so many avenues you can take, and there's so many people that just kind of curl up and decide to give up. But I think no matter if you're still breathing, you still have an opportunity to get a chance back at life in whatever avenue you want to go down. So for me, hockey was always a safe haven, and I knew that's where I wanted to be, was on the rink. It's the most equalizing opportunity for everyone out there. And again, at the end of the day, it's just about having fun. I knew I wanted to play sled hockey, and I knew I wanted to crack a spot on the Paralympic team. Sled hockey is just hockey, but played in a different style. There's the same amount of players, same rules. The only difference is you can't really trip someone that's already sitting. So once they understand how aggressive and hard the sport is and how fun it can be, I think then they'll start having an appreciation for it. That's how we can grow the game. And part of my goal, aside from rehab and trying to crack a Paralympic team, is to grow the sport as well. But as soon as you get into the sled hockey community, everyone has their own story. There's amputees, there's paras, there's people with CP, cerebral palsy. And for them to be all on the ice in the same arena, playing the same game, being all equal out there, really the only disability you can have is a bad attitude.
We didn't know much about sled hockey before, and then we started learning so much more about it. And
as soon as Ryan got on that ice, the smile was like he was reborn again.
And that's one of the most eye-opening things, is that nobody's complaining. Again, everyone's just smiling, having fun, playing the sport they love. It's difficult to get into sled hockey. It's one of the hardest things because even after my accident, I had no idea where to start. I was lucky enough to have my coach and mentor, Chris Cedarstrand, who played on the national team, live around where I live. And he, was helpful right away from the start. He ordered a sled from, across the country, which he had to kind of eyeball to measure.
We got him out there, I think it was about 4 or 5 months post-accident. Like, it was something that was, just insane. For me, and I know for Ryan, having sport is such a huge, has a huge impact on your recovery and your mental health. He's been able to just overcome so much and push so many boundaries in sport and just in, personal life that, he's really embraced that. And like I said, he's turned something that was horrible, into just a footnote in his story of life now.
The disadvantage to sled hockey is obviously finding the gear and not having it accessible for everyone, because at the end of the day, it is expensive right now. And if we can find a way to decrease that and again, make it accessible for everyone, I think, again, we're heading in the right direction, and it's something I want to be an advocate for. I think hockey teaches you every life lesson available. It's about perseverance, leadership qualities, how you interact with your teammates, how strong your willpower is, things you can sort of apply to regular life and outside of hockey, school, work, whatever it is, you can apply those qualities that you learn from hockey and being a good person in the community as well. Learning to handle yourself professionally at a young age, learning how to handle adversity, how to not get in your own head when you're down a couple goals. It's just about teaching you those life lessons that'll get carried on through generations, passing it down. Without sport, I wouldn't be the person I am today, and I'm really grateful that I got to play for 18 years, and I'm really excited that I got to play sled hockey for the next, however many years, and it's just about having fun. And if you can have fun at the end of the day, then that's what sport's all about.